My parents spent 6 years calling my migraines a bid for attention. But when my brother got one tension headache, they soundproofed his room and bought him a $5,000 zero-gravity recliner. I was 11 the first time one dropped me. The light in the kitchen turned into knives, my vision went spotty, and I threw up in the sink while my mom told me to quit performing because everybody gets headaches without turning it into theater. She made me finish drying the dishes. They came every few weeks after that. I'd lose whole afternoons in the dark of the nurse's office at school, where the nurse quietly kept a log because she saw what my parents wouldn't. By 15, I was walking myself to urgent care when the auras hit, and doctor after doctor said the word migraine, mentioned imaging, mentioned a neurologist. My parents would arrive irritated, tell the staff I was a dramatic kid who figured out fainting gets a reaction, and drive me home in silence. Then my brother stayed up too late studying and got a bad headache. My parents took him to 3 doctors in 1 week. All 3 said tension headache, drink water, sleep more, nothing serious. They bought him the recliner anyway. They put blackout curtains in his room and lined the door with foam so noise wouldn't trigger an episode. They installed a little intercom by his bed so he could call downstairs without straining his voice. My dad started driving him everywhere so he wouldn't risk a bus light. My mom cooked him separate meals off a headache diet blog, even though the doctor said food had nothing to do with it. Meanwhile, I was upstairs with a pillow over my face, learning to sense the aura coming so I could get to a dark room before I threw up. I'd lie on the floor of the bathroom until it passed, staying quiet so I wouldn't disturb my brother's rest. When I asked to borrow the ice cap they'd bought him, 1 of 3, my mother accused me of trying to steal my brother's medical equipment to prop up your act. You've been doing this routine for years, she said. We're tired of competing with your brother's real condition. I collapsed at my job restocking shelves. I woke up in an ambulance with a paramedic asking if I'd taken anything because I'd gone limp mid-shift and a customer had called 911. At the hospital, the neurologist ran the scan no one had ever let me have and diagnosed a chronic migraine disorder. The kind that, left untreated for years, rewires the brain's pain pathways and gets harder to control the longer you wait. The social worker called my parents. They were at my brother's academic showcase 2 towns over and picked up on the 4th try. They showed up 3 hours later. My dad's opening line was, "Is this covered?" My mom asked in front of the doctor if I'd planned this because I knew how big my brother's showcase was. I broke and I told the social worker everything. 6 years, the refused imaging, the extra chores assigned to take my mind off pretend pain. She pulled my file, 9 urgent care and ER visits, my parents' signatures on refusal forms, and a note from one physician stating that failing to treat a child's migraine disorder risked permanent, worsening neurological damage. CPS opened a case within 2 days. My advocate, 18 years on the job, called it one of the plainest cases of medical neglect she'd seen. The judge granted my emancipation and told my parents, flatly, that they'd spent more on my brother's imaginary comfort in 3 months than my diagnosis and medication would have cost in 6 years. My store manager had a spare room and had been offering it for months after finding me crying in the stock room on my breaks. I moved in that night with a backpack. My parents texted that I was being dramatic and it would blow over. Getting on medication took weeks of appointments, but my advocate walked me through every form. The right prescription changed everything. I went from losing days a month to almost none. I hadn't known what it felt like to just live without waiting for the knives behind my eyes. The surgery, well, mine wasn't surgery, but the specialist found the years of untreated attacks had left lasting damage that needed aggressive treatment and months of therapy to manage. For the first time since I was 11, I could sit in a bright room without bracing. My parents sent one email accusing me of humiliating them with lies about normal headaches and manipulating the system for free care. My brother texted that I was selfish for creating family drama during his showcase season. Then about a year later, my mom called. Her chronic joint pain kept getting dismissed as anxiety, and she wanted to know how I'd finally gotten a doctor to take me seriously. I asked if she'd tried pushing through it. I said everyone has aches, and maybe she was just being dramatic. Then I hung up.